Recorded at Cosmic Comics in Rockingham, Western Australia, you're listening to The Comic Box with your hosts, Psycho Scott,
Moody Matt,
Professor Ray,
Anna Mayan,
Logie.
and we are here to talk you through another week of Geek.
Wait, before we start, where were you last week, Ray?
I was working.
Working?
Yeah, working.
Working on what?
Work.
That's not an answer.
Work?
He's coming up with a new style of bread.
Oh, okay.
Is that your professorship?
Yes.
Professor
Well,
Bread.
professorship
Professor
is
Bread.
bread.
Did you have to take a course on that?
Yes.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Do you have a doctorate in it?
Not yet.
So you're not really a professor then, are you?
I heard to be a professor you have to have a PhD and be teaching.
I've got a fancy piece of paper that says I am.
Did you get this from a Korean website?
Just like your wife.
Because I will accept that. As a
Okay, week of Geek. First off, Matt, you actually brought up the fact that Mobius died. When was it? Yesterday?
Yes, the 10th.
The 10th. Yeah, I'm saying yesterday. Okay.
So it'd be
The
3
10th.
days ago. 2 days ago.
Friday.
Okay.
Friday was 10th, yeah?
Yeah.
No,
No,
that's
Saturday
not.
was the
No,
10th.
Saturday.
Saturday was the
Saturday,
10th.
so it was yesterday.
Yes.
So he died Saturday.
Yesterday.
Yeah. That's what I
Okay.
said. Yeah.
Yesterday isn't yesterday. Spoiler, we're recording on Sunday. You're listening to it on Wednesday.
Oh no.
So, people that don't know who Mobius was, you want to go for a quick run through?
Like,
Mostly he's done movies, so...
Yes, he's mostly, you would mostly recognise his work from movies. He storyboarded movies like Aliens. What was the other one?
Tron?
Tron. Yeah.
You see Tron?
Things that you don't like Masters of the Universe.
Willow! He
Everybody
did Willow.
hated that.
Yeah.
Masters...
Not Willow, but Masters of the Universe.
Willow was awesome.
Willow
was
was
good.
good.
No, I like Willow.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a giant two-headed dragon?
Well, yeah. Who
Thing.
doesn't?
Yeah, that's
Was
what
it
he
really a
recognises.
dragon? Because it didn't have wings.
And Val Kilmer.
No.
What, he worked on Batman?
No.
I'm Willow.
It was back when Val Kilmer was sort of a decent actor, I suppose.
Okay. So that's our shout out to an amazing artist. He also did a little bit of work on Silver Surfer and heavy metal and all that sort of stuff as well. So it's a shame he'll be missed. Let's move on. That's his eulogy. It's a shame he'll be missed.
Here's a moment of silence. Now on to the next thing.
Ow!
Remind me not to get you to do any talking at my funeral.
Yeah, I knew him. No leave.
I knew him. He didn't draw any art. That's it.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Not his eulogy. I knew Nicolas Cage. He didn't draw any art. There you go.
He collected some cool stuff. Okay, I'm going to start off because March is Manga Month. Yay! Manga Month is awesome. We're having a sale and all that sort of stuff in store. I'll get to that later. But because it's Manga Month, I wanted to bring up a whole pile of manga-related questions. So, hello Japan.
Yeah. Konnichiwa, brother.
Konnichiwa! Nani?
I guess I won't be saying much this episode then.
Where do you stand on Americans making live-action anime movies?
Go for it, Ray.
If they did them well, yeah, sure. But they don't, so no.
Give me an example other than Dragon Ball Evolution that they've done a bad anime movie.
Give me an example of one that they did a good anime movie.
That's like saying it must. That's like saying it must be true because there's no evidence for it. What the heck is that?
One bad movie means they must all be bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with
Can't
that.
think of
Why not?
one.
Well, that's the only one that they've actually passed through. A lot of the prelim stuff that, who was it? People did Lord of the Rings.
Wetter?
Weta! Thank you, Wookie. It was... Weta did a lot of prelim stuff for, Evangelion and things like that, and that looked pretty damn cool. That could have potentially been a good movie. I think it's... I am doing horrible with names at the moment. The guy that did Terminator and stuff like that, I think he has the rights to... James Cameron? I think he has the rights to do Battle Angel Alita or something.
Yeah, he's got that one, yeah.
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 I mean, he could probably make a really cool movie.
It's just because whenever they announce that we're going to make a movie, everyone rages.
Mm.
So you can't win. It doesn't matter what you make.
But what's the problem? I mean, Yeah, it was a bad movie with Dragon Ball, but that's because it was a horrible script.
Yeah, but most manga do have pretty bad scripts when you read them.
They do, yeah, but
Yeah, but they took that one and really screwed it up.
yeah, they royally screwed up Dragon Ball.
Let's not forget, of course, Sulu, who came out and said the reason why these movies fail is because they don't cast Japanese people in them. Which I
That's
think
a lot
is
of rubbish.
It's a load of horse crap. I mean, come on, really? The whole idea of just that Japanese actors, in this case, are better than English ones.
That doesn't even make any sense.
My problem is that it's really hard to integrate Japanese culture into Westernized culture. There's a lot of differences between the two.
Depends on what you're trying to portray more than anything. I mean, Americans can make giant robots just as well as Japanese can.
Yes,
Like
but
Transformers.
but the base of the Evangelion is a 14-year-old boy that goes to a Japanese school, and there's a lot of differences between the two, and there are plot points in the school which wouldn't work out in the.
That's fair enough, but I mean,
And also, would they be okay with sexualizing a 14-year-old girl?
that's kind of
I
creepy.
don't
That's
think they would be
crazy.
doing that. That's why they'd have to change it
Yeah.
in that. But of course, people will rage about that because
Because
they're
that
changing
is
the
a
script.
memorable scene in Evangelion.
Yeah.
That is a
It's like,
key point.
here's my plot line for the movie, right? We had the 14-year-old guy walk in the room, there's a naked 14-year-old girl, he falls over on top of her with bras falling on top of her.
Which is almost the plot of every anime I've seen in the last 6 months.
Yes. Every
Sadly.
anime ripped off the Evangelion.
I imagine most people after seeing an Evangelion movie would probably want to go out and slit their wrists. It's one of the most depressing series I've ever seen. I don't know. I don't think I'd have a problem with the Americans making a good live-action anime movie. I mean, if you look, it's not a good reference, but I think it was Tokyo Drift, Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. They
Yeah.
had an American going to a Japanese school.
Hmm.
So the Americans have done stuff like that, and it could be portrayed really, really well.
So that was
But-
like initial D.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
pretty much.
exactly. They already made initial D.
But anyway, back to that, like, he said that like, the reason why it was because they didn't cast Japanese people, right? But in these two examples he give, the characters aren't Japanese. He says Dragon Ball, Goku isn't Japanese, he's an alien.
He's an alien.
He's an alien.
And he said Last Airbender, which isn't really an anime, it's more of a...
Well, it's
you know,
the
it's like-
Canadians that
it's,
made
it's
it.
Canadians, but they draw it in anime style.
Yeah.
Like, that is an Earth.
Yeah.
It's something else. Like, so what does it matter how the people look? As long as they're good actors,
Which
you
they
don't
weren't.
care. Yeah, they weren't. So if you said, I didn't like them because they weren't good actors, okay. But you're saying they weren't good just because they weren't Oriental,
Japanese.
yeah, then I got a problem.
But if you read a lot of the manga, they're actually based on American type people going to Japan. They're not actually Japanese people.
Yeah.
Well, look at a lot of the popular
manga.
series like Code Geass.
Yeah, like everyone in that series
Yeah.
comes from a different country, but they all look exactly the same.
Code
Yeah.
Geass is set in Japan, but it's like the Britons or something.
Okay,
Yeah,
but would
yeah.
Code Geass make a good movie?
Yeah.
Sure
I'd
about
watch
that.
it.
Great, so make a good movie to everyone else, not you.
I'd watch it. Actually, I think I have seen stuff like that, but yeah.
It's like, we make it to a movie, yes, but what season of it are we going to make into the movie?
The
good
both were
one.
bad.
I think you'll find
You
the
could
first
probably
season
make the
was
second season better because all it was robots fighting each other.
the first season was good.
The first
Everyone
series,
thought
the
the
first
one
season
good.
was
Yeah.
The
coherent.
second one was just random,
Yeah.
whatever. We want another season,
Yeah.
which okay, fine.
We want
But,
more money.
yeah,
Okay.
if it's popular, they'll make it into a movie.
Yeah. Well, obviously that's the next stage of, like, they make the manga, that gets popular, they make the anime, and then it gets popular enough for things like Gantz has some Japanese release movies.
Yeah.
Death Note got 2 movie releases, and the third one,
Death
Note-
L.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
technically 3, but
Yeah.
yeah. I saw the Gantz movie recently.
Are they any good?
They were right. Because of course the Gantz manga hasn't ended,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they have to come up with their own ending, just like most animes that
Yep.
come out before the manga's end. But yeah, it's like most of it's just around. It follows the manga for the first movie, pretty
Mm.
much, and then it gets to this point where like, okay, we have to sum it up somehow. Let's see what can we do. Everyone dies. Why not?
Okay.
And it's like,
That's one hell of a way to
I
end.
actually found out that the second movie actually follows the series closer than the anime does.
Okay.
The anime, like, because that came out before the series, so they had to come
Yeah.
up with an ending quicker. But they should basically follow along a bit more, so that there's the whole point of Gantz is you have to get 100 points from killing aliens, then you can either bring back your friends or get out of the Gantz program,
Yeah.
whatever, because it's like a government program I don't know. But yeah, so the movie basically follows along to that point where someone gets 100 and then just goes off on its own merry way doing something else. I don't know.
I can sort of understand that. That's a good way to sort of lead off on something that hasn't finished.
I'd
Sounds
watch a
boring.
Gantz movie if it was about the dog.
The dog is in the movie.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Does he kill aliens?
No,
There we
Or
go.
can I
just
have lost
sold.
interest?
because most dogs can't handle guns.
This dog should be able to.
Although I did hear the news story about the guy who tied a shotgun to his dog's back and the dog ended up shooting him. That was pretty funny.
Let me guess. American?
Yeah. There was also one there. The guy was in his car with the dog, and the shotgun was next to him in the car, and the dog pushed the gun over and shot him. Which is funny because the gun wasn't loaded, so that means the dog loaded the gun and shot the
I'll get this. Choke it, Shane. I'll
Man's
get
best
you.
friend, eh?
But I swear, the gun wasn't loaded. I think you'll find it was, sir.
Yeah.
Come on, they can open doors.
You just got the shifty eyes with the dog looking both ways. What?
You know he's the bad guy because he's got the shifty eyes.
Okay. Moving on. Okay, so we've got pro-Americans making movies and no Americans making movies.
Okay,
So,
fine.
yeah, okay. So we're sort of divided on that.
I did actually see a Japanese live action of a anime. It was called Star Blazers here, but in Japan it's called Space Battleship Yamato.
Oh,
I saw that. That was pretty well done.
I've only seen the trailer.
Oh, it was,
We have it at work though, because that means these things are being distributed over here.
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah.
Mm.
we don't get many copies of it.
Yeah,
Because-
yeah. I mean, it is really good, and I was about to say that it's only subtitled. They haven't bothered
Which
dubbing
means
it,
it
which
falls prey to
brings
those,
us.
that stigma of people who just don't want to read.
Yes,
That's-
which, this actually brings us to the next thing. Do you think it's better to have an anime or any Japanese release thing really subbed or dubbed?
I think if you can provide both options, you don't have nothing to complain about.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
agree.
Most of the time, though, I will watch anime with the subtitles because I've tried watching it with the dubbed and it just doesn't work.
There's two ways
Why?
to take this question. There's, do you think it's better subbed or dubbed, or do you think the production is better subbed or dubbed? Because it's either your personal opinion as to whether it's actually better made, one way or the other.
Mm. Well, if you get the right voice actors in that, dubbing can work. But
But since you don't speak Japanese, you can't tell whether the quality of the Japanese dub is better than the English one.
no.
You can't tell if they've done it
You
right.
might
can't
as
you?
well
But
mute it.
Nothing against you if you
Yeah.
prefer Japanese over English.
Mm.
It's fine, whatever.
I like
If you-
listening to the Japanese and reading the
Mhm.
English. But
feel like
it's
you're learning
really
things.
hard to it's really hard to
Like-
watch the
like
show
what?
Like
when
the
you're
cow
trying
says
to
moo,
read.
it says moo on the bottom, and the translator note, moo means moo.
Me.
That's all. That's good.
Awesome.
But yeah,
I didn't
I
know
just
that
want to say
I
something.
love it when I
about
recognise
Do
a word.
I guess so. I
I,
mean,
I suppose all I was thinking is how it'd be awesome to have an anime voiced by all dogs and have to read the subtitles underneath it.
woof.
But my mind went off to a random tangent there, so skip me.
Woof, woof. Translator note.
It's over 9,000!
I hope you're all aware that woof means something different depending on the pitch.
Now we're into the
different
Chinese.
Ah. Andoi.
Unlike woof. But
Yeah, well, I mean, personally, I prefer dubbed.
I prefer dub
Yeah.
simply because I can do something else while I'm watching it. But
Yeah.
but that's more like series that you're not really interested in. I mean, like
Yeah.
if you're actually invested in it, then okay, yeah, I would watch them both ways. It's fine. I mean,
The thing is, it never changes. The actual anime, the animation, everything about it is exactly what it always was. The only thing that changes is the voices. And if they've done a really good job at having English voice actors do these voices, then
and
What
that's
have you
all
got
to
to
do with
complain about?
And that's all to do with the production value because
Yeah.
Ghibli ones always have really good
yeah,
English
yeah.
dubbing.
Yeah,
But then when you go
right.
to things like Funimation and that, sometimes half of them are okay and half of them are not
Sometimes.
quite okay. Because you look at a character and it's a little tiny little chibi thing, and they go, that must have a really high pitched voice.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
So let's skin a cat!
what do you think, Simone? No. What do you say?
Actually, that's one of the worst things that I've found so far. I watched, which is sort of related to it. Okay, I'll go with that question first. The main thing with the subbed or dubbed is subtitled comes out first. Because obviously it's released in Japan, it takes like a year for them to finally dub it. So people are reading the subtitle simply because they want to get ahead in the series. They want it as soon as it's released in Japan.
And they do come out pretty quickly as well, within like half a day. Subtitles
they do.
are on the
Yeah.
internet.
They're
I
also
can sort of
censored.
understand that.
I hate
Yeah.
that. Why would... Okay, fine. But why is it on at 12 and it's censored? I don't know, they're 2-year-olds up at that time.
This is Japan though.
I get it's a marketing technique to get them to buy the Blu-ray, because then it's uncensored.
The Japanese don't
Disney.
tend to censor things as much as we do.
No.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, I have seen quite a lot of games and movies that have been banned recently.
Well, in Australia or in Japan?
Both.
Yeah.
Just like, because, like, here, what is it? I got a Human Centipede 2.
Oh no.
It's cut out, like, they only
no.
cut out 30 seconds of that movie, which isn't that bad. But then they banned Serbian movie.
If we say that they are doing a third.
I know that. I'm in film.
I wasn't
I
too
think
sure
I
how
would
many
kill
people
myself.
To ask
knew.
why?
Yeah, that's a good
Because
question.
people will buy it.
Yes, of course.
No.
Yes,
This
they
thing's
will.
a load of
Yes, they
crap.
will.
I want one.
Yes, they will. Like, how much Human Centipede 2 rented? Yeah, 3 is going to rent like crazy.
Oh,
That's
That's why they're still making Mega
So-
Shark movies.
Mhm.
Oh, God.
Next up is
Tell
Bigger
us
Shark
that.
versus Inside Out Dinosaur.
What?
I'm not joking.
Oh.
Oh.
Let's move away from this subject onto
Okay.
something worse. Sorry. What do you think about this whole Yaoi and Yuri manga stuff?
I'm all for it. Just don't show me any.
I'm with him. You can read it, just keep it in your room and don't talk about it in public, please.
Like
That's like me bringing your porn collection out to public and saying, look at this, isn't this great?
It's like when they have
You can
the
see her
Yaoi
kidney.
they have the Yaoi and Yuri panels at YCon. Where they all just get together in a group and talk about it. It's like, okay, yeah, but you're in a closed room. So that's good. You can stay by
Yeah.
yourself. Just don't
But
bring it out.
That's
into
fine.
it.
They have different grades though, because I
Grades?
read it myself.
Exactly.
The Yaoi stuff I
The
read, but
yaoi.
yeah.
It's very hard to get Yuri stuff nowadays that
Yeah.
has actually been translated. But I mean, most people, your instant reaction is to go, "Ew, gay and lesbian stuff." But well, yeah, that is what it is. But it's not necessarily porn.
No,
You know,
it's
that,
not.
that
There's
isn't
there's
the
a-
only way you can have gay and lesbian. Gay and lesbian must mean porn.
Surprising like a. You know.
So, I was reading Avengers Children's Crusade, and 2 of the lead characters in that comic are gay. And a full page spread near the back of the comic was these 2 guys kissing.
Okay.
And
Did it really need
look-
a full page?
I don't think it did, no.
We
It
ran
was
out of story.
2/3 of a page. Come on.
I think the artist wants to tell us something.
But he's gay.
You just asked him to marry him. Come on. Oh, swallow.
Hello, Batman. What do you want, Superman? I'm here to tell you, I'm gay. I'm always happy.
But
It's pretty much the same thing in the Yaoi. They most of the time, some of them that have sealed up are actually a bit more full on, but the majority of them are just a love story.
exactly,
There's
it's based
nothing
around
in
It
there.
isn't
relationship.
sex,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
love.
It's yeah.
See? I could be romantic too. See?
That's it. It's just it's relationship.
Now get interest.
So, but I can't. I'm always happy.
So, I don't know. Honestly, I mean, I actually thought that the one in Avengers Children's Crusade was handled reasonably well. But technically, if I see that a book is yaoi, I won't even open it. Because I know there's going to be guys in there doing things that I don't want to think about.
Like kissing each other.
Sorry, I'm heterosexual.
No, but you kiss your girlfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just
I don't
the
want to see.
same.
I don't
It's a
like other.
relationship.
I don't like watching other people kiss other people of opposite sex. I sure as hell don't like seeing guys kissing guys. I don't understand people's fascination in girls kissing girls either. But
No.
if that's the way you go
That's
for
because we
it.
don't have to look at any junk. It's all stuff we like in there.
Sweet. Oh, disturbing. Disturbing
The
images
comic
now.
books. Now talking about porn.
Class all the
Let's
way.
move on now.
So anyway, next YCon I'll be hosting the Yoi panel. I hope you'll see you there.
let's move away from manga because we're going to start talking about tentacles soon if we don't. Let's move over to video games. As like most of the world knows at this stage, Mass Effect has just been released. Number 3.
What game was it?
Number 3 of Mass Effect.
Never heard of it.
It's something to do with space.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you mean Mass
yeah.
Effect 3?
Oddly enough, filled with aliens.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me guess. Is it space travel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there gunfire?
Yeah.
Oh wow! It's like amazing. You're on the roll. Gotta get into this.
And I'm surprised Fox News hasn't done a story on the gay scene in it.
Back to the game. Back to the game. Let's move on.
There's actually a scene with tentacles. I mean,
So Mass Effect was released, and there's a lot of video game tie-in comic books. So I thought I'd talk about this because of Mass Effect being released. There's Mass Effect comic series. There's been 3 of them
3
so far.
so
Mass
far.
Effect, Mass Effect Redemption, and Mass Effect Invasion.
Invasion.
None of these tie to the game.
You'd be surprised.
They're in
It might
between
not
the
have
games.
Commander Shepard in it, but they do have characters from it in between.
Yeah.
But would you be interested? The first run of the Mass Effect comics was based in between the first and the second game. It was a lead up
Yeah.
to the second game, and including some of the beginning of the second game, for like a tertiary character. It had nothing to do with any of the major storyline, because they can't do that, because the storyline of Mass Effect is created by the player.
and also you can't do anything that's so outside of it, because that would mean that people have to actually go buy the comic to know what's going on in the game. And
Yep.
They can't do that with a game series. They have to either
Exactly.
that, or before the game starts, they have to lay out all the backstory they laid out in the comic.
Just come up with a screen saying, "Read the comic book!"
This game will start when you put in the unique code on the front of the comic.
Oh man.
Oh, a lot of was it companies have been doing that to sort of more backstory in that. In it, it doesn't necessarily have to follow the main sort of character, but you know, as long as you can sort of mention was a main character every once in a while, or you know, do a story on one of the secondary characters.
Okay, well here's another one then. Assassin's Creed 3 has been announced that you're playing an Indian. American Indian, not a dot Indian.
You're playing in the what's it called? I can't remember.
Civil War or something,
that's
I guess.
it, yeah.
Davy Crockett's there, I assume.
When they actually had worse guns than back in the Renaissance.
Yes.
apparently.
So, I mean, that's coming out. The comic series, After the Fall, I believe it was called,
Yep.
has no relation whatsoever. It isn't even the same character. It's not the same... It's not Desmond. It's not one of the other people that was in the program. It's nothing. It's just some guy in, like, ancient Rome.
Is that the series that came out before, or is it another one?
It's one that came out...
Yeah, because that had nothing to do with Desmond. It was just...
Yeah. How does this
Sorry.
tie to anything? I mean, obviously they're just working on... Okay, creative fan favorite artist. I've got hold of it now. Assassin Nikolai Orlov.
Isn't he the guy who was in... what is it? Call of Duty? Nikolai? I don't know. I think it's wrong.
Da, Nikolai.
Yeah. Nikolai, what are you doing here in Russia? I'm going
Welcome
to
to
assassinate
Russia.
the president with my blades.
Welcome to Russia, where we kill people.
That's all that happens in Russia.
But they've got all these tie-ins. Why? I mean, obviously it's just a cash-in, because it doesn't further the story. Something like Batman Arkham, whatever it was called,
City?
that was the lead-up to Arkham City.
Mm.
It was a comic series that explained how Bruce got into the prison and all that sort of stuff, but they still had that opening scene on them grabbing him and throwing him into prison.
I think that whole arc in the comic is him going in to learn about it. Then he came out.
Then he
and
came
he
out
got thrown
and
back
got thrown
in the game. Yeah.
properly. Yeah. So it's sort of a lead-up thing. It's like a definitive lead-up to it. It's not something... if you read that, you get a further story for Arkham City. If you don't read it, then whatever, you enjoy Arkham City.
Because in the comic, Joker breaks into Arkham City.
Yeah.
But if you didn't read the comic, you just assume he was just thrown in there
Yeah.
with everyone else. So really, it doesn't really matter whether you know one way or the other. You're still in there. So.
Yeah, exactly. But
So where do all the Halo books come in?
wherever they want.
Oh, I think was
There's
it,
about 5 or 6 of them.
that I think brings back to sort of my point was that apart from the game, there's usually a lot of people who will really get into the backstory and they want more.
There is a lot of
They
tie
wanna
into
know about
backstory.
characters.
Lore
There's,
about
there's
the
a lot of
history and
things
that.
like how the Spartans were raised and all that sort
Yeah.
of stuff, and the
Mm.
training programs and stuff like that. That's
Mm.
kind of cool, I guess. But
Mm.
I mean, do you really want to read a comic? I don't know, Halo characters. Do you
Master
really?
Chief.
Master Chief
Yes.
is the only one I
Cortana.
know.
Would you rather read a comic about Master Chief, Cortana, or the guy that shoots lasers out of his eyes, the general? I don't know. I'm sorry, red versus blue.
I was a sergeant something or other.
Whatever. Would you rather read about them, or would you rather read about Grunt number 2465 that was on Command Team 32 that died out in space and didn't make it to Reach? I mean, who cares?
What?
Who cares? And that's what it's like with the Mass Effect comic. You know, it's on such background characters that it really doesn't impact a damn thing. So people that enjoyed the story aren't really going to enjoy the comic series.
Hey, hang on a minute. We're going to sell them.
It might be a good comic series. I don't know. I don't like
The
Mass
comic
Effect
series is awesome, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. It's got really nice artwork, I can tell you that. Anyway.
Well, with that said, I mean, like, let's look at Star Wars. I mean, apart from the
Oh yeah, bring it back to Star Wars again.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was. I mean, you got the 6 movies, and there are a lot of books and comic books that deal with periods in between the movies and that. But then you've got books and games that take it thousands of years into the past or a couple of hundred years in the future.
But still relate back to those characters that you know.
briefly. I mean,
They're
Yeah.
like sons, grandsons,
It's like-
or the people that taught the people,
Well, okay,
or something like that.
yeah.
There
Old
is-
Republic, for
there is
example, there's no mention whatsoever of the Skywalkers.
no,
all the
but
Solos,
it's
or-
about Jedis. You've got a definitive thing that you're basing
Yeah,
it
but
around.
that's just Jedi. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, they weren't born yet.
let's,
To me, all that extra stuff just seems like fan fiction. I don't
It's
know. Like, I know
extended
it's,
fan
I know it's-
fiction.
I know it's part of the folklore, but when you go in and read it for the first time, you're like, really? It's like, that's right, like, amazing spoiler stuff you might not have known. Did you know Boba Fett escaped the pit? Did you know that the Wookiee, the Chewbacca was crushed by a moon thrown at him by, Han and...
no, it's a alien race that.
But he was still crushed by a moon.
Yeah, he was still crushed by a moon.
Chewbacca was
What is
crushed
this?
by a
What
moon.
is this Pandora's mask? Really crushed by a giant moon?
What?
Oh.
Basically, it was one
No,
of
no,
them.
no, no, shut up. I don't care. Movie tie-ins. Let's move on to that. Because there's same sort of thing as the games. There's movie tie-in comics.
Hmm.
Obviously, the latest one at the moment ties into the Avengers. It's Fury's Big Week, I think it's called. It's something like that.
Week, yeah.
Yeah. And it's basically connecting all the movies. I just flicked through it because I couldn't be bothered reading it. The first part is like the part at the end of Hulk, and by the end of the comic is him talking to Tony while he's sitting in the donut, eating the donut in the second movie.
Yeah.
So, you know, it just jumps between all the movies while Fury gets the Avengers together.
Hmm.
It really has no tie to anything. They're going to start the Avengers movie, you're going to watch it, and it's going to be great.
Hmm.
But,
The sequel.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Which they said they weren't going to do.
Hang on
Yeah.
a minute. This is a 4-part series. If he's gone through all of them in the first
Well,
one, what's
he's
he
definitely
gonna?
gone through 2 or 3.
What's he gonna do in the next?
Buggered
3?
if I know. I'll
Well,
read
you'll
the
probably
third comic
find-
and find out.
You'll probably find the ones towards the end will be them finding out about the I assume
But he
it's
does
an
that in the
alien
movie.
race or it'll
He
probably
gets them together and says,
Yeah.
"The world needs you."
yeah no but was it you'll probably find in the comic
No,
they'll
it
get
doesn't.
a lot of information regarding to who this enemy is maybe and
But again, they can't go too much into it because they have
Yeah.
to explain
No,
the movie.
yeah.
So,
Okay, here's a question. Would watching the Avengers movie make you want to read Avengers comics?
well, has watching Iron Man made you want to read Iron Man comics?
I already Iron Man.
Yeah.
You
I
already
already,
read Iron Man.
I already
We
Iron Man.
answered this last week, didn't we? We said, like, well, these movies have spawned people wanting to read the comics.
Yes and no. If you take a lot of the sales that we get in store, initially when a movie's released, people stop buying the comics.
They just produce more series around that movie.
Well,
they just stopped buying that particular title.
When Thor came out, we had 2 people come from the cinemas and buy Thor comics. Those were the only people that month that bought a Thor comic. And the following month, nobody bought it.
I guess if you
3
see
months
a
later-
blonde throw a hammer far enough, you don't really need to buy a book about a blonde throwing a hammer.
Once the movie came out on DVD and Blu-ray, then people started buying the comics.
I think it goes down to is that when big budget movies like that are produced, they just pump so much merchandise out that people pretty much OD on it. It's like, oh, why do I really need to buy that when I bought this, and this? Because you usually get action figures, cups, T-shirts, games.
Yeah, but at least with the comics you're getting a story. It
Yeah.
furthers the story that you've seen in the movie.
Yeah, but that's not. I mean,
I don't like Captain America. I'm not going to start reading
No.
the Captain America comics because I sort of enjoyed the movie. Which I only sort of enjoyed the movie. It was well done and everything, but
Yeah.
man, it was Captain America.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
I watched Thor and I liked Thor because I like Thor.
Yeah.
Same with Iron Man and all the others. Hulk could have been way better, although Edward Norton did a good job.
Would you say that some characters in movies are not how you imagine they would be?
Yes.
Given your previous...
Yes,
No,
Deadpool.
Yeah, but
Because I know the other time you said that X-Men didn't like the first one as much because you had already had this idea of the characters.
I already
Yeah.
knew who they were.
The people who didn't have that idea about the characters liked it more.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that-
I think casting wise and stuff like that, they've done a damn good job. Except for the new guy playing Hulk. I don't think that's good at all.
That's just because what was his name in the first movie? Edward Norton.
Edward Norton was
Yeah.
in the second movie.
They said
he
he's like
was really good.
atrociously
but
hard to work
yeah,
with.
yeah.
That's why, yeah.
Could you imagine an ego like his
He
and
wanted-
Robert Downey Jr.?
He wanted,
Oh.
he wanted twice as much screen time as Robert Downey Jr. That's why they got rid of him.
Yeah.
Great.
So I can sort of understand why they got rid of him, but visually, the new guy that they chose doesn't look anything like Bruce Banner. But casting-wise and everything like that, I mean, everybody criticised Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and everything like that to start off with. Nowadays, when I see Wolverine, I think, hey, that's Hugh Jackman. He was a good casting choice. And casting-wise, I think it's well done. When you start getting movies like X-Men First Class, that was a really good movie. I
really
cannot
enjoyed
deny that it was a really good movie, but I went into it expecting it to be utter crap because it's not X-Men First Class.
Well, every time a picture of that came up, you went, "Oh, look at that! That's terrible. It's going to be a terrible movie."
Exactly. It's X-Men First Class with random mutants from the past 60 years.
And it's like, who are we going to kill off first? The black guy.
That's a question. Was there actually ever a
he
character?
was, wasn't he?
Was there ever a character in any of the X-Men comics like with that ability, the ability to just to adapt to any situation?
Yeah.
Darwin.
Yeah.
Darwin
That was actual
is
proper
actually
character.
a
Okay.
proper character, and technically he was in the team before any of the other X-Men. They retconned it about 3-4 years ago, I think it was, and brought Darwin into the comic series, saying that he was one of the original ones, but he basically died like he did in the movie.
Okay.
And that was actually well played out. He
Yeah.
did die, and supposedly he can adapt to anything, so he doesn't die.
He doesn't die.
But, you know, it was...
Because in the movie,
That was
you
probably
don't
the best
really
one.
see him die. He just kind of
Yeah.
flashes.
Disappear, yeah.
So-
I didn't see a
Yeah.
corpse. There was no corpse. He isn't dead. I know comics. Anyway, it was basically the tie-in comics to movies. The sales really do dip, and I cannot understand why. But having said that, you know, I didn't race out and read Captain America because I enjoyed the movie either.
The only reason I can think of it is because they are two different. They're all different media. So, like, if people who enjoy movies won't necessarily enjoy comics.
Don't worry about it. So a lot of people probably already they've read all the latest sort of Thor, and that's probably why. But then again, a couple of months not getting a single sort of sale on that.
It's kind of strange, but yeah. Anyway,
No, Green Lantern picked up.
Green Lantern picked up, yeah.
Hmm.
It seems the worse something does, the better it sells in comic form. Deadpool sold like crazy because
Deadpool.
it sucked in the Wolverine
Because
movie.
people want to see how he really is. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Green Lantern fell flat on his ass in the cinema and everything like that, and the comic sales went up.
Yep.
If something bombs, people want the comic.
And that's why we should make really bad anime adaptations.
Exactly.
Because
No.
Everybody will want the manga.
because if they make a really good Naruto thing, Naruto would die.
No.
Yes!
Finally. Completely.
Okay, still movie related. Do you reckon the movie studios and everything are going too far with their movie licenses? Like, I just heard, I think you sent me the
Yeah,
link.
yeah.
They're making a movie about Nicolas Cage's comic getting stolen.
hmm
It actually sounds like a pretty good story. You know, it's a pile of geeks that want to steal his comic. So they devise a plan on stealing his comic.
I think as long as it has Nicolas
Gee.
Cage playing Nicolas Cage,
That would be
that'd
awesome.
cool, yeah.
That reminds me of the plot of Fanboys.
Pretty much. But, I mean, what? I'll go and see it. I can't deny that. I'll go and see it. I want to know if they're going to get that comic that he sold. For anybody that doesn't know the story, Nicolas Cage had a copy of the very first Action Comics, first appearance of Superman. It got stolen in 2000,
Yeah,
I think it
2000.
was. And he didn't get it back until, like, last year. And then he finally gets it back and sells it straight away.
$2.1
He's-
million.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Over $2 million he sold this comic for. Do you reckon they'll get that comic back?
No.
No.
Sort of like, oh, well, we
No.
want to shoot this movie. Can we borrow the $2 million comic again?
No, what they'll do is do their research and make a replica.
There's been a fair few replicas done
yeah.
of it. Yeah.
There's been a lot of reprints, but
They could just scan the front cover and put it in a bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Does anybody want a $2 million comic?
It's like you see the budget of the movie is 2.5 million, and that's because 2.1 was too much.
Trouble is, it took them 11 years to get the comic back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to make a movie that spans
It was
11
like a
years.
coincidence or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Well,
it
it's
was
more
a story.
about-
Let's
Junior.
fast
Yeah.
forward.
It was
like
more
3
about
bits.
them stealing it.
Yeah.
That's what the movie's supposed to be about, them stealing it, not him getting it back.
Yeah.
So basically, what it'll be is for most of the movie, it'll be the plan and them executing the plan, stealing it, and then it'll have 11 years later, and you see Nicolas Cage probably at the auction house.
No, I think they won't
I
have a
don't
literal
think they'll
retelling.
cover
It'll be
that.
like a embellishing things. Like maybe they steal it, but then they have to keep it away from him, like because Nicolas Cage keep coming after them.
Yeah.
It's like, who are you? It's like, I'm
Pachinko!
I'm Big Daddy. Now where's Hit Girl?
I'm Batman. I mean, who am I? I'm Superman.
Oh no.
I'm Batman. Where's
He
Superman?
wanted to be Superman.
So yeah, I mean, we talked about this a little bit last week about studios picking up licenses, and I hate the fact that you talked about them should make a Cowboy Ninja Viking movie, and they are.
Yes!
No!
You wonder where I was last week.
Let me guess, looking it up or buying the
He
license.
was in his room going, "What have I done? What have I done?"
What did I
It's
create?
alive! Alive!
That being said, I'd like to apologise about Duke Nukem. Terrible idea. It should be directed by Quentin Tarantino.
That tumbleweed I just saw go past.
If we go by the track record of how long it took for them to make the game, we can make the assumption the movie will come out sometime around 2064.
I'm pretty sure most of
Excellent.
us in
Yeah.
this
I don't
room
have to
will
worry
be
about
in retirement homes or dead.
And I'm glad for that. I'll
Yeah.
be dead. I have to sit through
You're-
it.
If I'm not at that stage, I will kill myself.
Where's that bucket of water I was saving?
Oh, no, that's a horrible idea. But do you reckon that the studios are grabbing too many superhero movies?
Yes.
They really are making a lot of superhero. It seems to be the thing. I mean, there was a period where they grabbed a lot of game licenses and stuff like that and started making game movies.
Mm.
Now it seems they had a success with, I guess it was Iron Man or Batman was one of the first two that really took off. So they've gone, we need every comic to be made into a movie.
It's...
No, they can keep doing it. We'll sell more comics.
No, you won't. If they do well, you don't sell anything.
Yeah.
So they keep making
If they make
bad
crap
comic
movies,
movies.
yeah.
Bad comics.
It's
So why
basically-
isn't anybody coming in asking for Cowboy and Aliens?
It's a good
No.
question.
Because it was a
That
bad
movie
movie and
sucked.
it was probably a bad comic as well.
Nobody saw it.
Most people are probably going, that was a comic?
Yeah, no.
That's it. They don't know.
See, that's the thing. You can make a movie terrible again. You make it too terrible, that'll affect sales as well.
What was it somebody said yesterday? They said, "Oh, was that a comic book?" Oh, it was John Carter. That's
Really?
right, yeah.
Somebody asked if John Carter was a comic book.
No, the woman was sitting there waiting for her husband, and she looked over at the shelf and she said, "Oh, isn't that John Carter? So I didn't know that was a comic."
Only since 1912.
That's almost the amount
Literally,
of time.
that's when it started.
Only for
Yeah.
us, like a century.
It's 100 years old, but yeah.
With that
Wow.
said, Disney was sitting on the actual sort of script and everything since.
Yeah, but I mean-
Not since 1912.
no,
Technology's
but almost.
fine. Well, I don't think Disney's that old, is he?
No,
but it was
They
from
started
what
in
I
the
read,
20s.
it was they were planning on turning that into an actual feature film, which would have been the first big sort of budget sort of animated one, and then they ended up doing Snow White and Seven Dwarfs,
But
and that
nowadays,
stayed in development hell till recently.
the only way of doing it would either be animation or now.
Yeah.
Because now is the only time you can do CG and stuff
Yeah.
like that can depict it.
Now's the only time that you can go in and pitch an idea, and they'll give you like $90 million.
Yeah.
Okay, you go into the same studio in Australia for that, they'll give you about 70,000, and you also have to do a tourist campaign about the country, the state you're in.
Really?
Yeah, they recently released a movie called The Hunter, which had a Willem Dafoe in it.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
basically about finding the last Tasmanian tiger.
Yep.
Yeah, the only reason they got the budget for that was because about, I'd say 15% of it was just shots in Tasmania. That-
Oh,
I
God.
know they're supposed to do landscape shots, but that's ridiculous.
yeah, it's a good story. It's a good
Yeah.
movie, but it's just sometimes they just randomly cut to
Some section of
shot-
Tasmania.
Yeah. There's a movie Midnight in Paris, which just came out.
Yep,
So,
yep.
Wolf, what's his name? Right, I forgot. Anyway, but it was a Woody Allen movie,
Yeah.
and basically the first 3 minutes is just shots of Paris. That's
Anybody
it.
want to make a movie with me about the travels of
That's
a West
it.
Australian
It has,
geek?
Owen Wilson in it. That's it. I was trying
Yeah,
to remember.
yeah.
There you go.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
And we'll star Nicolas Cage in it, and we're set.
No, come on.
No.
Okay, fine, Kevin Smith.
Yeah. Okay.
Why, he's going to
Well-
be in town soon. I'm pretty sure we could mug him at the airport and give him a
There's
script.
guy in Sydney, right, and he writes comic books. He's doing a Zorro comic at the moment. We've only ever had 2 issues of it.
Yeah.
But he said he was going to come over here and he was going to do a signing in store. But he said to me that he was writing a comic book and it was just based around different sort of landmarks all over Australia. And he said, "So what's the landmarks have you got in Perth?"
Bell Tower.
I couldn't come up with one.
Is
They have a
that,
city.
is that Ferris wheel still there? No?
No.
I think
I think did it get taken down?
That was
I think
the
it did
first
get
one?
taken down, yeah.
Yeah.
I
You mean the
don't
one in
know. I
Mandurah?
could not come up with something.
No, there was
like
one in Perth.
I remember there was one in
We
Manchester.
had one.
No, there was one right on the river. that
Yeah.
has
Are
a
you
gun
sure
in
it wasn't
Oh, okay.
south?
No, there was one in Perth. I looked at it. I looked at it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy, man. I'm not crazy.
I didn't say
I can
anything.
vouch for him. He is crazy.
Your mother had you tested.
Yes. Why do you think I keep the straitjacket around?
Yeah.
And it's got names all over it. Those were all the
Yeah.
people I've put in the straitjacket.
They're the ones who guarantee me there was a Ferris wheel there.
Yes, there was a Ferris.
I actually did have
There
a
was.
word about the question, but I forgot now.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a interesting question. As soon as we're on the topic of Australian things, Australian superheroes. Do you know of any?
No, well, a couple only because I looked them up beforehand.
Did you know that Bishop from X-Men is an Australian superhero? Well, turned villain now.
Does he have an Australian accent?
No.
I should know
No,
that.
not until last year.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, he changed nationalities.
Yep.
I always
Since-
thought he was African American.
Since 1988, I think it came out, the first appearance of Bishop, he's been an American. Even in the cartoons, every single representation of him. 3 years ago, they suddenly said that you're an Aboriginal.
Okay.
And it was, what?
I realise there
Yeah.
are other people in Australia besides Aborigines, right?
Really?
Mm.
I think so.
Damn.
Wow.
Of course,
Okay.
they're the superheroes.
Well, what kind of Australian superhero would you have? I mean, there's bad ones. I've seen things like Captain Boomerang and things like that. There's some bad ones out there. But, I mean, An Australian superhero. I mean, would he be in like footy shorts?
Considering how hot it is today, it wouldn't surprise me.
It's,
I don't think,
Yeah.
to be really honest, I don't think actually a Australian superhero would actually sort of work if it was set in Australia. Mostly because this population, how
Well-
far stretched.
the X-Men came to Australia and they used Ayers Rock as the anthill. That's where they lived. Ayers Rock was their
Australia,
base.
it's multicultural, man.
I'm surprised there wasn't an outrage about it.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've got things like the tick says spoon, so I guess Australia man says g'day.
Australia stereotype, man.
Yes.
No.
Stereotype.
I command an army of giant prawns on a bloody Barbie.
Dingo ate my baby!
No, bloody
blazes?
baby ate my dingo.
God.
Fuck.
That could be bad.
The only ones that have worked are anthropomorphized things. There's no serious. If you go through things, which is really strange, they never did that with the X-Men movie. They have Pyro in the X-Men movies, sort of the opposite of Iceman and all that sort of stuff. They never cast him as an Australian. They cast Wolverine, the Canadian, as an Australian, but they never cast the Australian as an Australian. What?
Because who researches these days?
Nobody,
needs it?
apparently.
It doesn't matter where they come from, as long as they say, no, it must have nothing but Japanese people in it.
Yes! Must be Japan!
I will not watch it.
Yes. Speaking of heat, you said something about the heat. You reckon superheroes get hot? Do they have
Yes.
cooling systems in their suits?
I don't know if it. Okay, if Tony Stark.
Imagine Batman on a warm summer's night.
It's too hot. I'm staying in the cave.
Good thing I have this
You just
bat-
imagine.
Gotham City never looks warm.
Actually,
bat air conditioner on my belt. There we go.
You can see his nipples through his chest plate. It's,
It's
that
always
cold.
let me just get my Bat fan.
He has one of those cats with the two fans on it.
Mind you, what would be more intimidating than Batman jumping down with cowl, cape, and boxer shorts? Would you not run in the other direction? I'm Batman.
Does Batman have like bat symbols on his underwear?
Yeah, instead of little hearts.
Can you imagine him ordering them from my catalogue? I want the Batman underwear. How many? Wow, we can't make it look suspicious. 10,000?
Okay.
That's not suspicious
sir.
at all. I want to wear 10,000 Batman underwear.
Oh, and don't forget the little green boy shorts.
For a boy wonder. Why are mine briefs?
Shut up. Get back in the cave.
If you look at
Robin
majority
wears
of,
shorts.
if you look at majority of the was the places where they set it in that, you look at them. Was it North America, Europe?
New York.
Yeah, you know, where
New
most of
York,
those
yeah.
places don't particularly get that hot. Whereabouts, if you look at
Okay, fine. African Batman. Now explain it.
well, if you actually look at his suit, it's more armor than anything, so it had probably an inbuilt cooling system.
And as we know,
Aha! You didn't think of that one, did you?
I'm trying to figure out how that works. Because armor goes against your skin, so
Yeah.
it would be cold armor.
Ice packs.
No. It would be like built in. It would be like with Iron Man. Was it complete enclosed environmental sort of system?
I want to hear this out. I want to.
But he goes too
give
high,
me a
though, he
schematic.
freezes. So they
Yeah,
figured that
that's
out.
the suit, not the actual inside.
And he
of the
never
suit.
gets hot.
Yeah.
But no, I was.
Because he never stops and goes, damn, it's hot. Why am I talking to myself?
Huh.
Computer,
I should stop
yes.
doing
Why is it hot? You didn't put it in a system. How do
Oh.
I do that? You're the genius.
I gotta upgrade this thing.
No, no, was it? If you've got an enclosed sort of was it armored suit, you'd want it so to be comfortable in that, and especially with Iron Man's armor being powered in that, it wouldn't take much to be able to chuck in a environmental system.
Okay, let's move away from people that have mechanical suits.
Okay.
Lycra.
Flame on.
I don't think he'd have a problem because he's just
Ooh, it's a bit cool
constantly
here.
I need shorts. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Except they burn off.
What if they were heat-resistant shorts?
What, asbestos?
Is that flames coming out of your shorts? Or you just happen to see me? Oh, that's disturbing.
Ghost Rider.
But no, I would.
Oh, no.
I don't think they would actually. I think that's probably one of the reasons why they don't put them in situations where it's really hot environment. Because they
Batman
would have
ate
to-
an ice cream.
That's how he keeps cool.
There we go.
There you go.
He has a suit that lets him combat the cold.
He has a
Think
suit
about
for everything.
Yeah.
Does he have a suit that makes ice cream?
Probably.
That would be awesome.
I think he
That
does
would be the
because
cooling
he
system.
took Mr. Freeze's suit.
Yeah, we would have
Fre-
had that there as a
freeze-
souvenir.
How do you manage your cooling? Because I want to copy it from my suit.
Go to hell, Batman.
I'll see you freeze in hell. Good, because that'll help
Oh,
me in
no.
hell. My freezing
No.
season.
I don't think that was it. There's probably been a few occasions
Get out, bird boy.
where they've tried to put them in a situation where it'd probably be too hot and they'd have to change the costume, but yeah, it just probably didn't work. So
I was reading a Wolverine comic, or I flicked through a Wolverine comic the other day where his suit regrew.
what?
I understand he's got a healing factor and stuff. I understand Iron Man has the armor under his skin. I understand Reed Richards made a suit that could stretch. But how does Wolverine's suit regenerate?
It's not a suit, it's his chest hair.
Ah.
He has yellow and black chest.
I get it.
Ah,
These,
okay.
comics, these comics have an answer for everything.
Or he's wearing Mystique.
I'm still going to regenerate.
On that note, let's end the show. Okay, we're almost up to our hour. I try and make this show about 45 minutes every week.
Hopeless.
It will not work.
One of
so
these days you're going to say an hour, it'll be done in half an hour.
expect an hour-long show next week, and we'll do it in half the time. So that's all we'll do for this week. We'll cut it off there. As usual, like I keep on saying, if you have a question that you want raised on the show, head over to our forums at cosmiccomics.com.au and leave a message in the comic box section, or go onto our Facebook page, which is Cosmic Comics Australia. Leave a message there, or if you're watching / listening to this on YouTube, leave a message on YouTube for us, and we'll bring it up on the next show. Okay, I think we'll just leave it off there. As I said last week, don't forget Free Comic Book Day on Saturday, 5th of May. Otherwise, I suppose, is there anything anybody else wants to raise? Just last second?
Excelsior!
Okay,
Was that too early?
he wants a little bit too early.
Oh.
March Manga Madness.
Ah, yes, March. Actually, I'll put it on after this. I've actually made an advert, so people that are watching this and have actually stayed with us until the end of the show here, stay a little bit longer and you'll see my stupid advert that I shot today for our sale, which is all March long, for Manga Month. Hooray! Cheap manga. For as low as $2 a book. Okay, I've done my plug. Okay, so let's end the show. Thanks for listening. We hope you all enjoyed this week, and join us again next week for the Comic Box. I'm Psycho Scott,
Movie Matt.
Professor Ray.
Anime Ann.
Hello, Wookie.
and we are out of here.
Excelsior!
March Madness has come to Cosmic Comics with this month's Mega Manga Month Sale. Not only do we guarantee the cheapest manga in all of WA, this month we can guarantee a deal that will save you big bucks. Check this out. Battle Vixen's only $5. Chibi Vampire $2 each. Initial D only $2. And so much more. All March long we'll be selling manga at incredible prices, so come to us and save, because at Cosmic Comics, we're more than just a comic shop.